Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. If you've stumbled across this one, it's not a mistake, my friends. This is your reminder that it's time to focus on what makes you feel alive. So, when was the last time that you've truly felt alive? You know, when we just feel that this is it, this is what we want to do. We feel joyful, we feel excited, we feel inspired, we feel passionate, we feel filled with the life force. We just feel like this is it, my friends, this is it. When was the last time you felt that? Because, you know, when we actually find more ways to live our lives in that kind of a way, we will feel more alive. And often we just need to recognize what is that thing that helps us to feel more alive. For some people it's like helping others. For other people it's creating, making art. Like for me it's expressing myself through art, through paintings, through videos. And for other people it's doing certain sports they're passionate about. So pay close attention to what makes you feel alive. And write some things down, because often people say, yeah, I don't have time for that. I know all of those things, but I don't have time for that. But the truth is that we all have a same amount of time, but how we choose to schedule it, that's in our hands. We have things we can control and we have things we can't control. So how we choose to schedule our time, it's completely in our hands. And you know, when we design some goals around these things that makes our light glow, we will recognize that we can actually make a mission out of it. We can make a career out of it. We can design or create a job around it if we just pay a bit more attention to it. So ask yourself what makes you feel alive and focus on doing it just a bit more. Schedule your time around it so you can build that momentum in your life. You know, momentum is when we start doing it and then we keep up with doing it every single day. We create a momentum, and momentum is like a river. It starts flowing, and when things starts flowing it just becomes easier. Like starting working out is hard for many people, but when you start keeping up with it every single day or every second day, at some point it becomes much easier and suddenly you start flowing with that. Suddenly it becomes a part of your daily routines and suddenly it becomes your nature. Like this is what you need to do. And suddenly it becomes really, really important to you. And if that's something that is transforming your life in a positive way, that's something that you just need to have like a part of your daily lifestyle, right? So if something that makes us feel alive is not a part of our lifestyles, we will be lacking life. And that's why most people are walking around like zombies, because they are lacking life. They are lacking experiences that awaken within those higher emotional states of happiness, joy, passion, creativity, love for life, love for experiences. Many people are miserable just because they don't know what to change in their life so they could feel more joyful. Right? And when we fall in lower emotional states like sadness or worry or sense of separation or anger or hate, we start thinking everything more deeply. We start overthinking everything in a deeper level, and suddenly we feel like we are victims of everything that surrounds us. Suddenly we feel afraid of everything that surrounds us, and it's not a beautiful state to be in. So I want to remind you, my friends, to actually get yourself back into this moment and pay more attention to what is actually in your hands that could positively shift your life for the better. What is in your hands? Are you a creative person? Are you a good communicator? Are you a passionate artist or a singer maybe? Are you a producer of music? Are you a writer? And you know that's within you, you know that artist, that creator is within you, but you say, well, I don't have time because I have so many open projects. Well, are those projects more important than your life's mission, than the light that's sleeping within you? You know, sometimes we truly need to recognize what's the most important to us, and we need to check our priorities a little bit, so we can actually prioritize our main goals. Before I mentioned, design goals around what makes you feel alive. And when you actually take a moment and ask yourself, how could I make a career out of that? Maybe it can be a hobby for now, or maybe it can be a certain way of living. Could you make a career out of it? Or even better, could you make a life mission out of it? Could you inspire people with that? Could you help people in some way with what makes you feel alive? Could you maybe set some goals to find a partner who's passionate about that same thing as well? Maybe you could become a leader in that field, or maybe you could find a way to give back to community with that certain specific things, you know. I like to design goals about what makes me feel alive, like where I want to see my art in the future, where I want to see my work in the future, how I want to evolve in this area. You know, to have that vision, to have that point in the map of my future, in what kind of direction I'm walking on right now. Just to know, okay, this is how I want to experience my life. So I always start my day with that creative flow, like how I want to see myself in the future. So I just make sure that, yeah, this is what I'm creating right now. And I always finish it with a sense of gratitude, like, yeah, it's coming my way. This is it. And sometimes things find us the way that we imagine them, and sometimes things find us in a different way. But what we know, and what we always know, is that they find us the way they need to find us, so we can become who we need to be to experience a life that is meant to be. So my friends, take a moment and just reflect on what makes you feel alive, and for the future, design some goals around it. If it works, a vision board. More importantly, how we want to feel around it. Do you want to invest more time into it? And just take time for that. Then prioritize main goals. So what are main goals? Those are the main priorities. For example, if you have goals like things you want to buy with the money you will earn, with the things that truly makes you feel alive, well, that's okay. Those things are great, but the main priority is maybe a certain amount of money you want to make with it, an amount of people you want to touch with it or inspire with it, or the things you need to buy so you can start working on that, and you can put it on that list and see how could you maybe save more money so you can invest into that passion project that can maybe later become a mission or a lifestyle. We need to start somewhere. Like at the beginning, I needed to buy a microphone, so I was able to start making this kind of videos. And then I bought a better computer, and later I bought a better camera, and later I bought a better computer, you know? And we progress in that. And as we are progressing, also we will notice that we need better equipment, and as everything progressing, we notice that growth is happening, and when we notice the growth, we start to feel like something is going on here. We recognize that actually we are moving into that wanting direction. But we can only move into the wanting direction if we know what's the wanting direction, if we are able to see that wanting future. So that's why it's so important to truly take time and pay close attention to where you see yourself in the future. Because, my friends, the truth is that the world needs more people who feel alive. Not just more people who are happy about themselves, who love themselves, but truly people who feel alive. Because those are the people that are sharing something beautiful with the world. Those people are sharing a lot of creativity with the world, a lot of new inspiring ideas, a great vision that can transform many people's lives in a positive direction. So something truly, truly amazing. But most often, as you found for yourself and I found for myself, that the biggest blocks that we are not living our lives that way, and we are usually even not thinking about living our lives that way, is that we have so many limited beliefs that are telling us that it's not possible. And of course, those limited beliefs are protected by limited emotions that are holding us back and reminding us of the story of the past that triggered those emotions. Like for example, when you were really little and you were expressing yourself and somebody around you started laughing at you like, oh, look at that kid, what he's doing, what he or she thinks that she is. And maybe it triggered intense shame within you. And that created a strong memory that serves you like a protecting mechanism, so you would never, ever, ever again express yourself the way you did back then, because you don't want to be that kind of a weirdo in the society. And that emotion is still present within you because you didn't do anything about it. And that's what we call emotional healing, release of the stored emotion. And usually it works the way that we go back into that memory so we can recognize what happened, so we recognize the truth in that event. Somebody was judging you based by their own perception of how people should be. And most probably that person was suffering of that same emotion because somebody else once in the past was laughing at that person. So it means that when you start releasing that emotion, you're not doing that healing just for yourself. You're doing that healing for many people in the future. Because once you release that stored energy, you will start looking on life differently. And when we start looking on life differently, we start behaving differently. The way we talk and speak with others becomes a different way of interacting with them. We become usually more supportive, more understandable, more loving, more compassionate. And that's something that unlocks new doors to new possibilities and new potentials, which is something that we really need. So pay close attention to the beliefs that are telling you why you can't do it. And beliefs are always related to money, to time, to people and support that we may receive or may not receive from our environment, because that's what we need to pay attention to. Yes, of course, maybe you are limited by money right now, or by support, or by compassion from somebody, but it doesn't mean that it's not that you are lacking the force that's within you, that is kind of inspiring you to make those necessary changes. You're only lacking those external forces, so you would recognize that everything you need is already within you. What I've learned about money in the past is that when I was lacking money the most was the time when I needed to be creative the most, to use what I had to create what I want to see. So those were the times where I truly needed to learn to think outside of the box. When I started painting, I had no money to buy a professional canvas and professional colors. So I used what I had back at that time, some old sheets, and I've stretched them on some wooden frames I made by myself. And those were my first canvases on which I've started learning to paint. So I needed almost zero money to start learning to paint. And that's something that is really, really interesting. You know, when we start looking outside of the box and we recognize that there's actually so many more ways to start working on something that is important to us than what we know or what we knew. So always remind yourself that when you think there is no way, there's always another way. And you may feel limited because you hold to certain beliefs. But once you let go of those beliefs, you will recognize that a whole new path towards freedom is unfolding in front of you. And the only thing that you need to make after it is to check out your habits. Because if you don't align your habits with that new way of looking on life, you will only follow that path as long as you're inspired and motivated. And habits are designed by consistent repetition of tiny little actions. So when you start acting and behaving in a new way, it means that you need to stay consistent with it until it becomes a part of you. Like what you're doing today, out of a habit, is a part of you because you've started repeating it at some point in the past, usually because you've been inspired or manipulated or influenced by your environment, which gives you a proof that if you start repeating something over and over again, it will become a part of you. It will become a part of your identity, and you will say, yeah, this is who I am. So when it comes to changing the habits and aligning them with our core purpose, core mission, means that we need to see clearly in what kind of direction we are moving. We need to set goals around it. We need to prioritize certain main goals so we can know what will we do every single day so we can start walking towards that direction. And then we need to stay consistent with those new actions, because eventually those new actions will create habits. Patterns in your brain will become stronger, and by consistent repetition, they will become more and stronger. And eventually, it will create new habits for you that will support that vision for the future. So if you will take care of that, suddenly your life will just start transforming. And suddenly, more and more synchronicities will be meeting you. They will be showing you that the job that you're working on, the changes that you're making in your life are showing the effects of transformation. And synchronicities are always signs from the universe that you are making certain changes. So more you're seeing them, more you know that things are slowly manifesting for you. So my friends, focus on what makes you feel alive. Design goals around it. Prioritize them, because the world needs more people who feel alive. The world needs you, my friends. Reflect on limiting beliefs and emotions and do everything that is in your power to stay consistent to your new way of living. Do your best, and things will always work out for you. Even when you think that they are not working out for you, they are actually working for you. So my friends, this is it for today. Reminder, I'm running a giveaway on my Instagram page, AttractPassion, where you can win a free print of the painting, The Dragon. Go and check it out. It's on my latest post. And thanks to all of you for supporting my art in my Etsy shop, AttractPassion. You're all truly appreciated. I love you all, my friends. Till next time, one love.